So, what has war got to do with this? Let's find out together. When technology becomes the linchpin for bridging gaps and building new relationships between people of two hostile neighbor countries, let's see what happens. I am Amber Noor Mustafa. I am a Fulbright PhD scholar from Pakistan at Florida State University in the International and Multicultural Education Program. So, what is this session about, and what do we hope to learn from it? We want to establish how technology can bridge deep rooted gaps of animosity among nations with a history of war and rivalry. And we also hope to provide recommendations to make this a sustainable initiative for peace and harmony. My work today here is based in India and Pakistan. India and Pakistan are two South Asian countries which came into being in 1947 post World War II when the British rule over the colonized Indian subcontinent ended after about 90 years. The people of United India was segregated on the basis of differences in their religious beliefs and ideologies, more formally known as the two nation theory. Pakistan represented Muslim majority and India represented Hindu majority. The two countries have been arch enemies since they were founded and have fought three wars in 1948, 65, and 71, respectively. Keeping this context in mind, in the aim of this session, we will be exploring what are the different ways 21st century technological tools are providing pathways of collaboration and social interaction in Pakistan and India. How can these be cascaded around the world for more meaningful and structured use of technology to foster global peace and harmony? Now, while politically the two countries continue to be foes, there are crevices in this animosity through which channels of friendship and social intercourse have been formed and strengthened in very unique ways. Technology, in the shape of digital media and more recently social media, has been the linchpin between the people of the two countries who communicate through this medium in their own idiosyncratic ways, building bridges shaped by culture and sport and music, etc., to name a few. And so, just like water find its way, their relationships have also found their way. Indian movies and actors have a very strong fan following in Pakistan, while Indians follow Pakistani dramas as closely as Pakistanis do. I had been aware of these socio-cultural linkages for several years, but the power of technology suddenly showed its real might and brawn to me when last month, in fact, a Pakistani girl's dance at a friend's wedding went viral on social media in India and Pakistan for the oddest and opposite reasons. Now, strangely, Pakistani netizens had a very negative perspective about their fellow Pakistanis' dance and they trashed her performance brutally. Surprisingly enough, Indians came to her rescue as they enjoyed her performance thoroughly, to the extent that many Indians, including famous movie stars like Madhuri Dixit and others, were dancing to the tune and following her steps all over social media. Similarly, earlier this year, an Instagram video of a Pakistani girl was converted into a rap song by an Indian singer, and the duo they became so popular that the girl she became a social media sensation and was casted in several dramas and movies, transforming her life overnight. Another powerful example surfaced during COVID. A Pakistani formed a Facebook group called COVID Warriors India to bring Pakistanis and Indians together and to share support and supplies for COVID patients in India as the situation there seemed to worsen. So I've also included some other similar examples from around the world. For example, in the article Tracing Pathways to Higher Education for Refugees, the role of virtual support systems and mobile phones for refugees for women in refugee camps, the researchers posit that technology, mobile phones in particular, can play a pivotal role in developing and extending social and academic networking opportunities for refugees in a context where, due to very, very harsh conditions like social isolation, geographic dislocation, linguistic and cultural barriers, and security threats, etc., access to higher education is extremely limited, especially for women. And they show in the article how many they share examples in the article of many Kenyan refugee women who are now studying in the US and other countries around the world because of these channels that they formed through social media, especially WhatsApp and mobile phones. Um, Similarly, in technology, particularly social media kept the world connected, informed, and I would argue hopeful during COVID times. Thank God a lot of that is now behind us. So, my friends, the brawn and power of the 21st technology is something we cannot ignore anymore, and which is not only providing opportunities to individuals but also conduits of communication to people of rival countries. Thus, identification and acknowledgement of these powerful channels for connecting rather than segregating nation states through structured global attempts can really pave the way for peace and harmony among peoples of the world, even if they have a long history of war and rivalry. As shown here in my presentation today, the civil society would have to really take matters in their own hands per se for substantial modifications to political and social narratives. Let's try and find similarities instead of differences, and overlaps instead of segregations, and reasons to blend instead of reasons to divide. I hope you found my presentation helpful and informative. Please reach out to me on my email address here, and let's connect for more and hopeful and better times in the future. Thank you so much.